Yo, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's your boy again, Shady, the one and only. And today, guys, we are back again. We are back with another video. Today, guys, we'll be checking out an Arab Israeli combat soldier in the IDF. In the IDF. You didn't hear that. Hold up. Wait a minute. An Arab Muslim in the Israeli army. That's not something you hear every day. With everything going on in the Middle East, this title caught me off guard. And to be honest, it kind of smells of propaganda. But I believe in listening first. So before anyone jumps into conclusion, let's listen to this person's story. Hopefully we're going to go away with a new perspective. So let's jump on this right away. But make sure you smash like, subscribe, give me some love. Oh, let's get this.
My name is Yahya Mohammed. I'm 21 years old. I'm an Israeli. I'm an Arab. I'm a Muslim.
Israeli, Arab, Muslim. Israeli, Arab, Muslim. In one mix. Cocktail. Shake. Drink. Okay.
And I'm a proud soldier in the Israeli Defense Forces. I grew up in the Arab village of al-Fahim. I grew up in a country that I was taught to hate. But eventually I fell in love with Israel. I decided I wanted to give back to my country. So even though I am not required to do military service, I chose to enlist in the IDF and join a combat unit.
He's not required to serve, but he decided to serve. What are you talking about?
I decided I wanted to give back to my country. So even though I am not required to do military service, I chose to enlist in the IDF and join a combat unit. I was nervous about how the rest of my platoon would feel about serving with a soldier who comes from a Muslim background. But I was greeted with open arms, treated with nothing but respect and admiration. Today I officially finished advanced training in the Nakhal Infantry Brigade. And when I stood on the ceremony alongside the brothers that I had been training with for the last 8 months, I was proud to accept the responsibility of standing at the borders and protecting my country, Israel. What made me fall in love with Israel was the resilience of its people, and I'm proud.
Did I see correctly? A Zionist Muslim. Aye.
What made me fall in love with Israel was the resilience of its people, and I'm proud to be part of that people. I'm proud to be me, an Israeli, Arab, Muslim, IDF soldier.
Somebody, wake me up, wake me up. An Arab Israeli Muslim serving in the IDF as a combat soldier. Oi, okay. I mean, this is not something you every day. Wow. I want to know more. He said he grew up in a country he was taught to hate. He was not required to serve, but he went in to serve. Bro. Muslims and Jews, so basically Arab Muslims and, Israel, like they're like sworn enemies, like yin and yang, never mix. Okay, like water and oil. Wait, let's check more.
Why did you betray your religion?
Good question.
I never betrayed anybody. My religion, my family. Being an Arab in Israel, you have to fill a certain expectation. I don't meet expectations. Hello, my name is Yahya Mohammed. I grew up hating Israel, and after October 7th, I'm in the ranks of the IDF, protecting the only Jewish country.
After October 7th was when he joined. Huh? Okay.
X is the most important social media platform in the world. On the free speech platform, everyone's thoughts and questions matter. That's why we let you ask your questions.
We are interviewing a Muslim IDF soldier. What questions would you like us to ask him?
Through Visagrad 24.
Do you feel a Muslim living in Israel or an Israeli that is Muslim?
I feel that I am an Israeli who happens to be Muslim. I love it when I go abroad to Europe or America and they see my Israeli passport, and when they open it expecting my name to be David or something else, and they see Mohammed.
Wait, at the airport, they'll be like, there's a glitch in the system. Something's not right here. Bro, even if it's me, I'm like, no. Take him for interrogation. Like, even me, I'm not going to believe it, bro. I'm not gonna believe it. Okay, no, because it doesn't make sense. Why does it make sense? Because of what the media has been saying, because of the mainstream media, because of what we hear, because of the anti-Israel, sentiment that's going on around the world. Bro, I think this is one of the most shocking videos I've ever seen.
And I see the eyebrow just raising, their confusion. And yes, Israel is just a melting pot of different cultures, and I think it's not known enough.
Are you Sunni or Shia?
Israel has only Sunni Muslims, but we have other kind of Muslims living in here. But I am Sunni and the majority are Sunni.
Ask him if he knows what the Quran is.
Yes, the Quran is our holy book, and before joining the IDF, I was part of a movement called the Islamic Movement. And part of the first things that I remember from my childhood was that they wanted to send me to India to convert people to Islam. I was praying 5 times a day. I was part of the community in the masjid. I know very well what the Quran is.
Why are you still Muslim if Quran 5:51 says do not take unbelievers as your friend?
We cannot live in 2024 and follow every letter to the exact thing that's written. We have imams who have decided to go forward and put Muslims on the right path to civilization and to outcast people who believe in the literacy of doing everything literally in the Quran. That's a very bad thing to consider. We can't read every holy book and do exactly that. They were written a few thousand of years ago. I think they don't exactly fit today's narrative.
Interesting perspective. Very interesting perspective. Very interesting. In the Old Testament, when somebody commits adultery, they get stoned to death. So Christians can follow that to the letter. Interesting perspective.
Do you scream Allahu Akbar when engaging enemies?
No, I usually say that in the shower.
This guy, he cracks me up. He cracks me up with that. Okay, he cracked me up with that.
No.
If you are a Muslim, why did you join IDF? Islam prohibits every action these forces commit.
It's very funny because one of the things that all religions share between Christianity, Judaism, and Islam is a verse that I like to remember all the time.
Okay.
Whomever saves one soul, it's like they save the entire world. Whoever kills one soul is like they killed the entire world. So I viewed it as my #1 mission in the IDF is just to save one person. Every soldier and what's in some sense or another is carrying this with him, and it's very beautiful.
Beautiful.
How do they sleep? Referring to Muslims in the IDF, honestly?
I sleep very well. I sleep very well knowing that during my entire service there was never a terrorist attack in my area where I served. I have only seen smiles and civilians who went out and enjoyed their day while I'm on duty.
Do you think Israel brutally murdered thousands of innocent children?
I don't think we targeted children. We never do target children. There are collateral damage, and it is sad. It's very sad. It affected me. Seeing blood on the ground affects every human being.
Absolutely.
But I can sleep very well knowing that we did not target specifically children and civilians. We do.
Because I've been asked that question a few times. Some people say Israel are baby killers. They're baby killers, baby killers. But then we all know that in war, there's something called collateral damage. That's why we say in wars, it's the children, the women, mostly the innocents that suffer. But then targeting children, specifically going out to target them, that is definitely a war crime. But still, I'm not pro-war. If it can be avoided, let it be avoided. If it can be avoided.
Knowing that we did not target specifically children and civilians. We do everything we can not to do that.
Did your service affect your faith, made it stronger, weaker, altered it?
It made it much, much more complicated to go to a mosque that I don't know out of my community, to pray. It became more challenging after I joined the army. And not only that, I do Israel advocacy and my face is known to other Arabs. So it made things complicated. But recently I have seen more religious figures opening spaces for people like me in their mosques. A lot of Israeli Arabs, young people, saw what I did and decided to follow through, and some did. including a very religious Muslim woman who went and enrolled to be a combat soldier in the IDF.
Wow.
So she was wearing the IDF uniform with a head covering and an M16. Seeing examples like that really give me a lot of energy to continue forward.
This is very interesting. So the Arab woman in her veil, you know, still practicing her religion. They're in the IDF uniform with an M16, protecting Israel. Okay.
Do you get accommodations to practice your faith?
There's a time to pray, there's a time to fast. They accommodated me on every single thing. I also accommodated them because I went to the IDF to serve the people. And I saw it. My personal opinion was that there's a limit to my needs, and the big majority is going to be to what the country needs.
If he falls in combat, does he get 72 virgins in heaven?
No, my...
Yo, that question, yeah, that question got me, man.
If he falls in combat, does he get 72 virgins in heaven?
No, my girlfriend forbids me. No 72 virgins for me.
Do you consider yourself also a Palestinian? What is a Palestinian identity to you?
I don't consider myself as a Palestinian. My grandmother, who was born in Tulkarem in the West Bank, she identified as Palestinian. I always say that my grandmother is Palestinian, but I am not. She was the biggest Zionist I've ever met.
Do you think it is right to serve in an army that considers you a second-class citizen, or a country that marginalized you by calling itself a Jewish state only?
Well, we never called ourselves a Jewish state. We are a Jewish democratic state. Every day of my last 6 months in the army, I was in charge of raising the flag and saluting it every morning, and we sing Hatikva. It never missed my mind that this is a Jewish country. But at the same time, there are also Israeli Arabs who are living here who have, the sky is the limit, really. The sky is the limit. However much somebody wants to get in and integrate into the bigger Israeli society, you can do it.
Do you support the demolition of Al-Aqsa Mosque and building the third temple on top of it?
The first nation that allowed the Jews to pray freely on the Temple Mount were the Muslims. And I believe in my mind that we will live to see a day where Muslims and Jews pray on the Temple Mount right next to one another. My faith, my moral compass tells me that my prayer will not be heard if I demolish another person's temple to build mine.
Wow, would that be possible? Like, you know, not being a pessimist, but wow, that would be the day. That would be the day. Nothing is impossible. So, let's go.
Now, the status quo on the Temple Mount, there's a lot of things to say about it, but I think demolition and stuff like that is out of the question.
What has Israel done for you?
Israel has given me a home. Israel has kept my family safe. Israel gave me a safe space where I can study, where I have a very stable life, which is a luxury apparently in the Middle East. Israel gave me a sense of security and opportunities that I will not find anywhere else in the Middle East.
What do you think about all the pro-Palestinians calling?
What he's saying here is very interesting. He found himself in a land, he accepted the land, he integrated and accepted to sacrifice himself for the greater good of the whole country. He wasn't putting himself first, he goes nation first, putting the nation first and being grateful for what he has here, and he's making the most of the opportunities. And also he said lots of people from Palestine that want to achieve that can also achieve that. But what we see on the mainstream media is completely opposite to this, completely opposite to this, all right? Every day we hear people saying things like, you know, the D word, unalive to Israel, unalive to America, I don't want to say the word, you know, and they say many nasty things towards Israel. So hearing someone that is a Muslim saying this about Israel, being pro-Israel, being positive about Israel, saying these things, the first thing that will come to anybody's mind. So if I had watched this video maybe last year, 100% I would have said, I think this is propaganda. based on the things I've heard on the news, on the BBC and all the news outlets that we have access to here, based on everything I've heard there, based on people's accounts, people's testimonials, based on what people are pushing forward, based on the information we have worldwide that's easily accessible to us, it makes us see these things as propaganda. So basically, the whole media is brainwashing us from the truth. They're feeding us information from one side rather than giving the balanced information.
Anywhere else in the Middle East.
What do you think about all the pro-Palestinians calling Israel an apartheid state?
To say misinformed, to say the least. But the Palestinians, it was never about the Palestinians. It was never about the Palestinians. It was never about Palestine. It was about just attacking Jews. And now the Jewish nation has a country, and now they want to attack the Jewish country using Palestinians and Palestine as a tool. If this was taken out of the equation, another thing would be brought into the equation to fill this void.
What do Muslim IDF soldiers say to...
Wow, this is a very powerful thing that he said. Really, really powerful. Because if you look into the history of Israel, they've been facing war of annihilation for centuries, for thousands of years. Every time there's always a reason why they should be annihilated. Every time. Finally, their land was completely gone. There was no Israel on the map, no kingdom of Israel. They were spread across the whole world. And wherever they were in the world, they were being attacked. They were being eradicated up to the Holocaust. And then finally, you know, they managed to have their land. They were gifted their land back. Then there was the 6-day war. They wanted to wipe them all out off the face of the earth. But they're still thriving. And then it's Israel-Palestine, and then it's going on and on. It's like a very never-ending war. It just keeps on going. And from what he said, what he's saying makes so much sense. It's like they're always looking for a reason just to target them.
Another thing would be brought into the equation to fill this void.
What do Muslim IDF soldiers say to other Muslims who accuse them of being traitors?
The IDF stands at the borders of Israel, protecting everybody inside the country. The IDF stopped weapons from being smuggled into Israel, and we know that Israeli Arab communities are suffering from violent crimes right now, and those weapons that are being stopped by the IDF and drugs making their way into our Arab community. Israeli Arabs should serve in the IDF because the benefit of it to our community is just absolutely massive.
Will IDF soldiers be deployed in Gaza who have relatives in the Gaza Strip?
The IDF actually avoids that. They asked me, I have family in the West Bank, and they asked me when I drafted, where does my family live exactly? So they make sure that I don't operate in the same thing. The Israeli police follows the same statute. It's a very known thing.
Should an Israeli be able to build a house in the West Bank?
This question implies that those people are doing something wrong, and it puts me as an Israeli Arab in an awkward situation. Because if they're doing something wrong by living in the West Bank, just simply existing in the West Bank, then what do we say about the 2 million Arabs who are living in Israel? Are they also doing something that they're not supposed to do? It's a very short-sighted question.
Do you think there should be a Palestinian state?
I think that the future that I have in Israel and the future that my neighbors have in the West Bank are very much tied together. Whatever future happens there and whatever they achieve, it affects me, and whatever I achieve, they affect them. A statehood or not, it doesn't matter. The first step that we need to do is stop the violence.
I have to clap for this guy. I have to clap for this. This right here is someone being wise, someone being smart, all right? Someone that has probably studied conflict resolution. The first step is for the violence to end. Let the violence stop. Let us be human beings. Sit down, talk, dialogue, decide, get a solution to our problems. That is what is needed right now. People are focusing on land, mine, take, fight. Meanwhile, we could just be there, talk like human beings, use our, intellect, speak, communicate, and decide that, okay, this is what it is, We compromise one piece, because life is valuable. So we need to make sure. So much sense.
What would you advise Hamas leaders as a Muslim?
I already advised the late Yahya Sinwar to release the hostages on Israeli national TV. That was the only way we could end the war. Unfortunately, my voice went into the pool of many other voices in Arabic and Hebrew and English and any other language, but Hamas is deaf. I wait as an Israeli soldier, I wait for the proud Palestinian leader that loves their people more than they hate Israel to come. I still have yet to see another leader like that.
Wow. You hear that finishing remark? You hear that last statement? He's waiting for a leader that will love the people more than they hate Israel. The duty of every leader, like a father, is to love his family, love the children, enough to lay down their own lives for them, to think about their future, to give them a better, brighter future. Okay, because your duty is to your family, ensure their safety, ensure their peace. And if there's anything that will affect their peace, that will affect their safety, it's something that you need to stop. Sometimes a compromise is what you need, because you're thinking of the greater good. Because you've got the family, who else are they going to look up to? Who is there for them but you? We need leaders that will focus on the people, a leader for the people, by the people, of the people. That is what every nation needs. Once we get that in our nations, wars are going to reduce. They're going to reduce by at least 90%. Because when you put the people's good in your heart, your thought to be, I do not want wars. If we have war, then it's too much for us. Then my people will be in danger. I mean, sometimes maybe there's no way you can avoid war. When you get invaded, when you get attacked, then you have to defend, fight and defend. But when there's a slim chance of there not being war, a slim chance of there being peace, that's what leaders meant to do. That's what I believe a leader should do. A leader should take that chance, okay? Because you need your people to be safe. You need to protect their livelihood. Anyway, this video, like I said, wow, the title is not something you hear every day. It is definitely not something you hear every day. In fact, not even every day. It's something that you don't even hear at all, especially with the ongoing narrative that Israelis hate Muslims, Muslims hate Israelis. They can never mix. But then I hear that in Israel, there are up to 20% Arab Israeli Muslims living there, thriving, you know, having a good life. No one cares if they're Muslim or not. They're there enjoying their life. They're being protected as well by the IDF. And then we hear on the other side, if you're a Jew, as soon as they hear you're a Jew on the other side, your life is at risk. Madness. You know, day by day, these videos I'm being sent, it's shocking me. Day by day, I'm getting more shocked. Day by day. This one was very intense. You know, whether you agree or not, you can't deny the courage it takes to stand in a place where you're caught between two worlds. So what do you think about Muslims in the IDF, guys? Drop your thoughts in the comment section, guys. I'm ready for the comments. Let's get this. Peace.
Oh, I love you more than words can say. You are me. Oh, you are the light that shine in my way. You are me. Oh.